Chicago Bulls fans, it was a tough season opener against the Pelicans, but there were still some bright spots. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vučević combined for an incredible 48 points, showcasing why they're the heart of this team. But despite their efforts, the Bulls couldn't hold off the Pelicans' offensive surge, and it ended in a disappointing 123-111 loss. What went wrong, and what does this mean for the Bulls moving forward? Stick around as we break down everything from standout performances to the key adjustments the team needs to make. You won't want to miss this. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. The NBA season has officially kicked off, and the Chicago Bulls had their season opener against the New Orleans Pelicans. It was a game filled with excitement, a lot of scoring, and, unfortunately, a tough loss for our Bulls. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vučević combined for an impressive 48 points, but it wasn't enough to secure the win. The Pelicans took the game, finishing with a final score of 123-111. We're going to break down everything that happened, from standout performances to where things went wrong for the Bulls. So, let's get right into it. Alright, let's start with a quick recap of the game. The Bulls came out strong in the first quarter, with Zach LaVine setting the tone early. He was aggressive, getting to the rim, and knocking down shots from beyond the arc. Nikola Vučević also showed his presence in the paint, dominating the boards and scoring inside. But the Pelicans weren't backing down. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson were relentless, and the two teams went back and forth, trading buckets in an exciting first half. As the game progressed, the Pelicans began to pull away. Despite some solid offensive efforts from LaVine and Vučević, the Bulls struggled defensively. They couldn't contain New Orleans' fast-paced offense, and the Pelicans capitalized on their mistakes. By the end of the third quarter, the gap widened, and the Bulls found themselves trying to play catch-up for the rest of the night. In the end, the Pelicans closed it out with a 123-111 victory. Now, let's dive deeper into some of the key performances from the Bulls. Starting with Zach LaVine. Zach had a solid night, putting up 26 points, and he did it efficiently. He shot 10 for 19 from the field, including 4 for 9 from three-point range. What really stood out was his ability to create his own shot. Whether it was driving to the basket or pulling up from mid-range, Zach was making things happen offensively. However, he also had a few turnovers, and the Pelicans took advantage of those mistakes. That's something he'll need to clean up moving forward. Next up, Nikola Vučević. The big man had 22 points and 12 rebounds, notching his first double-double of the season. Vučević was a force in the paint, and he even stepped out to knock down a couple of three-pointers. His ability to stretch the floor was crucial, especially when the Pelicans started to clog the lane. Despite the strong performance, there were moments where Vučević struggled to keep up with the speed of New Orleans' offense, particularly in transition. It's clear that while Vučević can dominate offensively, the Bulls need more from him on the defensive end. One of the biggest issues for the Bulls in this game was the lack of production from the supporting cast. We didn't see much from DeMar DeRozan, who usually plays a pivotal role in their offense. He ended the night with just 14 points, and it wasn't for a lack of trying. The Pelicans' defense did a great job of containing him, forcing him to take tough shots. Without his usual contribution, the Bulls' offense looked a bit out of sync. Another player to mention is Coby White. He was expected to step up this season, especially in situations where the team needs a spark off the bench. But tonight, he struggled. White finished with only 6 points, shooting just 2 for 8 from the field. It's just the first game of the season, so there's still time for him to find his rhythm, but the Bulls will need more consistent scoring from their bench if they want to compete against top-tier teams. Now, let's give credit where it's due. The Pelicans played a great game, and there were a few players who really stood out. Brandon Ingram was sensational, leading the team with 28 points. He was hitting from everywhere mid-range, deep three-pointers, driving to the hoop. The Bulls' defense just couldn't find an answer for him. And then there was Zion Williamson, who made his presence felt with 24 points and 9 rebounds. Zion was an absolute beast in the paint, using his size and athleticism to overpower the Bulls' defenders. So, where did things go wrong for Chicago? It's pretty clear that the defense was the biggest issue. The Bulls allowed the Pelicans to shoot over 50% from the field, and they struggled to defend the three-point line. Time and time again, they got caught out of position, leading to easy buckets for New Orleans. Transition defense was also a major problem. The Pelicans pushed the pace, and the Bulls simply couldn't keep up. Another area of concern was the rebounding battle. Even though Vučević had 12 boards, the Bulls got out-rebounded overall, and a lot of that came down to effort and positioning. The Pelicans were aggressive, crashing the offensive glass and getting second-chance opportunities. The Bulls need to be more physical and fight for those 50-50 balls if they want to control the tempo of the game. Looking ahead, what do the Bulls need to do to bounce back? First and foremost, they've got to tighten up their defense. Coach Billy Donovan will need to address the lack of communication on defense, especially when it comes to rotating and contesting shots. They can't allow teams to shoot that efficiently if they want to win games. Offensively, they need more balance. LaVine and Vučević can't do it all on their own. DeRozan needs to find his rhythm, and the bench needs to provide a stronger spark. Guys like Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and Alex Caruso will need to step up and contribute. It's a long season, and there will be ups and downs, but the Bulls have the talent to be a playoff contender. It's just about finding that consistency. Of course, we have to talk about how Bulls fans reacted to this game. Social media was buzzing, with fans showing their love for LaVine and Vučević's performances, but also expressing their frustration with the team's defensive issues. Some fans were already calling for changes, while others were more optimistic, believing that this was just a minor setback and that the team will improve as the season progresses. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Bulls have what it takes to turn things around? What adjustments do you think they should make? We love hearing from you guys, and your opinions are always spot on. So, to wrap it up, the Bulls showed flashes of brilliance with strong performances from Zach LaVine and Nikola Vučević, but it wasn't enough to get the win against a tough New Orleans Pelicans squad. The final score was 123-111, and there are definitely some things the team needs to work on.